gentlemen, welcome back to The Late Show. Folks, my guest tonight is the Emmy and Tony Award-winning actress you know from Mamma Mia, Into the Woods, and The Good Fight.
What are you doing here?
I'm getting paid. Business is down except for everything in bankruptcy, and court dockets are backlogged into next year. If clients want to pay to resolve their differences in crazy court, what's the downside?
You're treating this like arbitration?
If we agree to be bound by Judge Wacko, this is arbitration.
I don't understand anything anymore.
Sure you do. That's why this is throwing you. Welcome to 2021.
Please welcome Christine Baranski. Wow.
A live audience.
Yes. Well, it's lovely to have you here, and I'm so glad if, in case we lose power, you brought your own lighting grid. I love this. I love it. Is it nice to have something to dress up for again?
Oh, I haven't been this high in heels since 1968.
Welcome back to Broadway.
It's wonderful. You may wonder why I'm all dressed up like this.
Why are you all dressed up like this?
Because I thought, okay, the Colbert Show is now got an audience, and this is a historic theater, and I have not set foot in a theater since the lights went out on Broadway. Well, what, over a year ago.
Glad you could be here to light it up again.
This is like my opening night. My opening night. It's great.
Are you going to see any Broadway shows coming up?
Oh my gosh!
You know, Springsteen opens this Saturday, right?
I can't wait. The one I really want to see though is Company, because my friend Patti LuPone and I was supposed to see a preview, and then all of a sudden we shut everything down. And you and I were in Company, not in the same production.
Not in the same production, and not the same part.
Not.
Though I would have loved to have played the stewardess, April.
Stewardess.
Yeah, I could have done it.
Right. Anyway, we both know that score, and maybe, do you think your wife would mind if I took you there one night as a date? We'd go see it?
I'm going to go ahead and say she's fine with it.
No, here's what I think. I said to Patti LuPone, who I've known for years, I said, Patti, when the audience finally comes, when you finally do your first performance, that audience is going to stand there and scream and cry before the orchestra even plays the overture. We will be so happy to see live performance. So I want to be there the first night. And Patti actually said, she said, Christine, I don't know how I'm going to get through a performance. It's going to be so emotional. You know, these performers have been home or been doing nothing for over a year. Imagine being a performing artist who can't dance, sing, do that thing that they do.
And not just your Patti LuPone's, but the
chorus
musicians,
members, the musicians, everybody's been on hold for such a long time. So I think it's going to be so emotional. So come with me.
I would love to. I would love to. I will.
I'm sure your wife would love to get you out of the house for one night anyway.
She was happy for me to go back to the theater. Though no, she was my only audience for 15 months. She's
bless
a great
that woman.
Audience. Yes. God bless that woman. Now, as you said, we both did Company. I did it for one weekend. You did it for years. You've been in seven Sondheim shows? Oh,
but that sounds like I've done 7 Broadway shows. I've not. I actually never did Sondheim on Broadway, to my great regret. But the first role I ever did was April in Company, and that's the first time I met the great Stephen Sondheim. And he came backstage, and he actually said something nice to me. And when I got home that night, I kept thinking, oh my God, I met Stephen Sondheim, and he said something nice to me. And I said to my then boyfriend, Stephen Sondheim said something nice to me. And he said, who's Stephen Sondheim? And I broke up with him. How can you be with a man who doesn't know who Stephen Sondheim is?
I had interviewed Mr. Sondheim, and I got a letter from him saying, hey, they had asked, would you do a part in Company at Lincoln Center? And I said, I can't sing Sondheim. And so I said, no, thank you, no, I don't have time to learn it or whatever. And I got a letter from Sondheim saying, I think you have a perfectly lovely voice for this part. Would you please do Harry in Company? And my wife said, no one is ever going to ask you to sing Sondheim again, let alone Stephen Sondheim. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. But were you terrified at all to
I'm always terrified to do Sondheim. I saw you in that production, and I didn't know how you guys did it, because concert versions, I've done mostly concert versions of Sondheim, and it's very little rehearsal, and doing Sondheim it's a high wire act.
It's
you
complex.
Either know those lyrics or you don't, and the intervals and the music is complex, but if you master it and you do it, am I right? There's nothing...
there were many of the courses I was going... A TV show, I don't have time to learn all the Bobby, baby, Robbo.
I know.
Nope.
It's a hard score, but boy, is it rewarding when you succeed. So yeah, I've had the privilege of doing Sweeney Todd and Into the Woods as a movie, and Company and Little Night Music, and I did 2 productions of Follies, different roles.
Did you ever do Sunday in the Park with George? Because that's the thing that hooked me.
Did I do Sunday in the Park with George? I was in the original workshop production of Sunday in the Park with the great... This was in 1983, and we put this together. We didn't know what it was. We were just learning these lyrics and learning the intervals, and oh my God, this is so hard. And then James Lapine just kept blocking us into different parts of the stage because he was trying to create that Seurat painting. So a lot of it was tedious. We didn't even have a second act, but it was Mandy Patinkin and Bernadette Peters, who were incandescent. Mandy, his voice, and they learned it. We learned all the material, and then while we were performing, we did like 3 nights of performance. During the day, we learned the second act. Steve hadn't written a second act yet.
So he just sprung a whole other act of the show on you?
He wrote the second act, and then we rehearsed it during the day and performed the first act at night, and then the final night, like the 4th night, we put in this second act. And I mean, Mandy knew the music, and we just did it. It was one of the great nights in the theater. People were like, what have we just witnessed? I mean, nobody knew it would win the Pulitzer Prize, and then it would be one of the great musicals ever. We were just doing it. And then this man named Mike Nichols was in the audience on the 4th night. And he saw me, and then he asked me to audition for The Real Thing, which was my first real Broadway hit. So it was magical, magical time.
Wow. The first time I had to sing. I was lucky enough to do that one weekend of Company, and the first time and the only time I got to rehearse with the Philharmonic.
The Philharmonic.
We sang with the Philharmonic, but we had rehearsed with a piano,
yes,
in
and
a
then
storage
you heard
room.
the Philharmonic.
Heard the Philharmonic, and I never got to run with them, and I do Sorry Grateful, which is basically just me and the Philharmonic. I had never sung with an orchestra before. I had one chance to do it before they shut them down, and then we had to go do it. I had one chance to do it,
Oh my God.
and right before I opened my mouth, Sondheim walked in and sat on the front row. In Lincoln Center, there's nobody in Lincoln Center except him in the front row, and I'm glad I brought a second pair of pants with me that night. Absolutely. I've flown with the Thunderbirds, and that was way more terrifying, to open your mouth in front of the man.
I know, and he hears everything. He knows he's the most exacting artist, the most exacting musician, but when he's pleased, you know you've done something right, huh?
I'm waiting. We have to take a little bit of a break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Christine Baranski. Maybe there'll be some singing. Maybe there'll be some